Good evening. Welcome. Friday, March 8th, 2018. Wow, almost said 18 something. Good evening. I'm your host, V. Chase, and welcome to the Woodchuck Report. Today, first, I'd like to say Happy International Women's Day. A couple days late, but you know, what can I do? So we just had a town meeting day. What's the Tuesday, Wednesday. So I have a bunch of results here I would like to read off to you. These are for the towns of Chittenden County. So I will get started with that. So my screen stops timing out. So first town we have for Chittenden County here will be Bolton. There was a proposed town budget on the ballot for a lot of numbers. I won't read it off to you. Let's just say it was over $1 million, which would have been a 2.5% increase over the current budget. The amendment was to reinstate the library card reimbursement line item at $815, increasing the budget to, again, over $1 million, $1,036,674. That was passed. So, for the select board for Bolton here, congratulations to Wendy Hoffman, who is running uncontested. She was elected to a 3-year term with 153 votes. Janet Metz, running uncontested as well, elected to a 2-year term with 152 votes. And John, I'm going to assume it's a Coete, could very well be wrong. Please don't quote me on that. Also running uncontested, elected to serve a 1-year term, which was left in a 3-year term, 1 year left of a 3-year term with 149 votes. Items on the ballot for Bolton was show the voters add a 25-cent addition to the tax rate to support the conservation fund. That was passed. Should the voters authorize the purchase or lease of a work truck for the highway department, and that also was passed. On to Burlington. City council district elections, each were for a 2-year term. East District, which is wards 1 and 8, Jack Henson, progressive. He defeated his opponents, Richard Dean, who was a Democrat incumbent, 837 to 546. Central District, which is wards 2 and 3, Perry Freeman, progressive, defeated Jane Nodell, independent incumbent. Jared Carter, Democrat, 928 to 643 to 144. Jane Nodell had 928 votes. Jared Carter had the 144 votes. Correction, sorry. Jane Nodell had 643 votes. South District, which was wards 5 and 6, Joan Shannon, Democrat incumbent, defeated Mohammed Jafar, progressive, and Paco de Francis, independent, 1,423 to 669 to 75. Proposed city budget, which was also on the ballot. Burlington does not vote on the budget on town meeting day, so that is of no consequence. Probably should have read that, scanned ahead. Ballot items was increasing tax rate, approved, 4,596 to 3,149. Increasing municipal portion of property tax bumps up next year's taxes by $13 per 100,000 of a home's assessed value. The current tax is about $830 per $100,000 of a home's value. They also voted to reorganize planning and permitting inspections, approved, which approximately a little under 4,700 to 3,135. The proposed charter change will merge building permitting inspections and code enforcement into a new Department of Permitting and Inspections. A whole lot of bureaucracy right there. Director of the new department would be appointed by the mayor, as would be the director of planning and the zoning administrative officer. Downtown Improvement District was defeated 4,291 to 3,615. That would have expanded current boundaries for upkeep and marketing beyond the Church Street Marketplace area. A sunset provision would automatically end the new district after 10 years if not renewed. Also eliminating inventory tax for business approved, 4,757 to 2,641. Inventory worth less than $45,000 would no longer be taxed for non-residential property owners. Reduction of single-use plastics was approved, 6,581 to 1,421. Advises City Council to create a policy to reduce use of single-use plastic bags, stirs, straws, and styrofoam. A policy that could include a ban on some or all of those materials. On to Charlotte. Select Board City Council. Select Board for a 2-year term. Frank W. Tenney, incumbent, defeated Nancy Richardson, 440 to 358. Select Board for a 3-year term. Louis Macarin with 332 votes, won over Ed Stone, 174, and James N. Faulkner, 313. Items that were on the ballot: determining if bonds not exceeding $275,000 in finance purchase of a new ambulance and relevant equipment passed, 659 to 203. Determining if bonds not exceeding $700,000 finance the construction of an addition to the Charlotte Library, passed, 629 to 236. Moving on to Colchester. Proposed town budget, $13,129,419, which is a 2.4% increase over the current year budget. That passed, 1,728 to 858. Select Board, Jackie Murphy, incumbent, running unopposed, won the 2-year term with 2,045 votes, 22 write-ins, apparently. Tom McCahey, I believe, apologies to him, incumbent, running unopposed, landing a 3-year term with 2,031 votes, again with 22 write-ins. Items that were on the ballot for Colchester: Malletts Bay Sewer Project, that failed, 1203 to 1396. Voters were asked to authorize the town to borrow $8.6 million and to allow the town to use $9.7 million in current and future local options taxes to help fund the wastewater treatment improvements in Malletts Bay. Proposed school district budget was passed, 1582 to 1036. Proposal was for $42.6 million, a 4.98% increase over current budget. On the school board vote, Craig Keeney, apologies again, incumbent, unopposed, secured a 2-year term with 2041 votes. Kurt Taylor, incumbent, unopposed, landed a 3-year term with 2058. On to Essex Town, otherwise known as the town outside the village. Proposed town budget, $14.7 million, increase of 2.58% over current budget, passed by a voice vote over amendment to increase budget by $100,000. Total fiscal year 2020 budget is $14.8 million. For Select Board, Andy Cooper, Patrick Murray, and Irene Renner, incumbent, running for 2 seats with 3-year terms. They all won, obviously, they were unopposed. And the junction does not vote till April, FYI, in case you're in a junction and you're figuring out what's going on. Onwards to Jericho. Select Board, Wayne Howe, incumbent, running for a 3-year term, earned 624 votes. Town Clerk, Jessica R. Alexander, incumbent, running for a 1-year term, earned 701 votes. Off to the school board. Angelique, I hope that's right, Angelique Contois, incumbent for a on-year of an unexpired 3-year term, earned 606 votes. Tom Cheney, Kara Clopton, and Chuck Lacey running for 2 3-year terms. Tom Cheney with 525 votes, Chuck Lacey with 498 votes, defeated Kara Clopton with 264 votes. Heinsberg, proposed town expenditures, rounding up to $4 million, 2% increase over the current expenditures. It passed to the floor of the town meeting on the March 4th with minor modifications. Apologies, I don't have what those modifications are. Select Board, Aaron Kimball, running as incumbent for a 3-year term, unopposed, 697 votes. Jeff French for a 2-year Select Board seat over Keith Roberts, 526 to 469. And Frank Tuareg for town moderator as a write-in candidate, earned 60 votes. That's actually kind of funny. Congratulations to him, though. Huntington, proposed town budget, $2 million, a 5.3% increase over current budget. It passed on the floor. Roman Levac, incumbent, running for a 3-year term, was reelected with 284 votes. And there were no other candidates on the ballot for the open 2-year seat of Larry Haskins Jr. Larry Haskins Jr. won 21 write-in votes, 5 more than the margin for election. Very interesting. Items that were on the board show the Select Board spend $80,000 from the Highway Equipment Reserve Fund to purchase a new tractor mower. That passed from the floor. Show the town spend $140,000 from the general fund balance and $175,000 of the Paving Reserve Fund for the shim and overlay of East Street and Main Street. That passed on the floor. Shall the voters recommend that the Select Board explore options for the ownership and/or restoration and future use of the old fire station to be funded in part with taxpayer funds raised through property tax? That also passed on the floor. Shall the voters recommend that the Select Board incorporate paid video recording of all municipal meetings at an estimated cost of $75 per meeting as part of a 2020-2021 general fund budget? That passed from the floor. And proposed school budget of $2.1 million, a 9.9% decrease over current budget. That passed from the floor. Onwards to Milton, town budget, a $8 million budget vote, up 4% from current budget. That passed 1,002 to 554. Select Board, Chris Taylor defeated Brenda Steady for a 3-year term, 916 to 534. Chris Taylor, 942 votes. Dana Maxfield, 774 votes, defeated Brenda Steady, 694 votes for a 1-year term. Milton Town Manager Don Turner said in a telephone interview that Taylor resigned the 1-year seat Tuesday night. The Select Board will appoint a replacement. I see what happened. Was on two different ballots, won both of them, and resigned one of them. That's what happened. Voters authorized the town to pay for a water main replacement on Lake Road for an estimated $804,000. That passed 1,116 to 424. Voters authorized the town to pay for improvements to the new pressure sustaining valve on River Street for an estimated $198,000. Passed 1156 to 381. Voters authorized the town to bond for up to $1 million to pave portions of North Road, East Road, Lake Road, Bear Trap Road, Everest Road, Copper Road, Quarry Lane, and other roads if funding remains. That passed 1271 to 287. Proposed school district budget, $32.6 million, up 11% from current budget. That failed 760 to 807. And school items, voters authorized the $1.3 million bond for elementary school renovations and office space construction. That passed 834 to 729. Richmond, proposed town budget, $4 million to a 5.9% increase over current budget. That passed. Select Board Bard Hill elected to a 3-year term. Katie Mather elected to a 2-year term. And Terry Maltrop elected to a 2-year term. Town Clerk Linda M. Parent elected to a 3-year term. Onwards to Shelburne. Proposed town budget approved 1022 to 381, $9.5 million, an 8.4% increase over current budget, which is $8.7 million. James Hines, incumbent, running unopposed for a 2-year term, earned 1,232 votes. Michael Ashu, running unopposed for a 3-year term, earns 1,214 votes. Items that were on the ballot: deciding if the town should raise $35,000 by taxes for the purpose of obtaining options in acquiring land or rights in land to preserve natural resources and open space. Unspent funds going towards open space fund approved. 1013 to 404. Deciding if town should establish a fire equipment reserve fund approved. 1095 to 323. Deciding if funds should go toward a purchase and sale agreement for a portion of the Rice Lumber property, and deciding if site is adequate for a fire and rescue station in the future. Approved 1095 to 323. Onwards to St. George. Proposed town budget $318,290, up 2.5%, 2.5% from current budget. That was passed. Select Board Sarah Tischler elected to a 3-year term by vote from the floor. Harry Bowen elected to fill a 3-year term by vote from the floor. Items on their ballot: to authorize the Select Board to sell one or both unsold permitted lots in the Town Center subdivision. That passed. To authorize the expenditure of up to $10,000 from the proceeds of the sale of those lots to pay for the town share of improvements of the town center's water supply, well, and pump house. That also passed. South Burlington, proposed city budget, $60 million, increase of 5.59% over the current budget, passed 1540 to 1038. City Council, elections, Tim Barrett, incumbent, defeated Frank Davis, 1851 to 411 for a 3-year term. David Kaufman, incumbent, garnered 1991 votes in his unopposed bid for a 2-year term. Items on the ballot: proposed increase in sales and rooms meals tax by 1%. That failed, 1458 to 1158, against. Revenues to be used for subsequent voter-approved projects such as an indoor recreation center, a performing arts center, or a pedestrian bike bridge across Interstate 89. This charter change would have needed to be approved by the Vermont legislature as per the laws. A car rental tax, which was passed 1703 to 892, a half of 1%, 0.5%. Tax for short-term car rentals to be used to fund highway safety and emergency services. This charter change needs the state legislative approval. Smoking age was passed 1973 to 631, a non-binding vote to advise the governor and the Vermont legislature to raise the legal age for buying tobacco products from 18 to 21. Again, what's the purpose of age of adulthood then? Underhill, proposed budgets, town budget, $1.2 million, a 12% increase over current budget. Amended and approved by an on-floor vote as a total general fund, expenditures of $1.1 million and non-tax revenue of $253 approximately $1,000. Highway fund of $1.4 million, a 13% decrease from current highway funds. That was passed on a floor vote. Select Board, Robert Bob Stone, running unopposed, won a 3-year term with 423 votes. Dan Steinbauer, running unopposed, was voted to serve 2 years of an unexpired 2-year term with 446 votes. Items on their ballot: should the town assign from 2018-2019 surplus $100,000 to the Highway Reserve Fund, $30,000 to the Building Reserve Fund, and $50,000 to reduce taxes. That passed 463 to 55. Shall the voters approve the transfer of $20,000 from the Generator Reserve Fund to the Building Reserve Garage Fund? That passed 438 to 75. Shall the voters approve the transfer of $10,000 from the Town Hall Roof Reserve Fund to the Building Reserve Fund? Passed 454 to 62. Shall the voters authorize a loan in the amount not to exceed $250,000 to be financed over a period not to exceed 20 years for the construction of the Copper Road Bridge? That passed 357 to 148. Shall the voters authorize a loan in the amount not to exceed $500,000 to be financed over a period not to exceed 20 years for the reconstruction of town gravel road beds, 1.5 miles of roadbed replacement on Poker Hill Road and Irish Settlement Road? That passed 383 to 125. Shall the voters exempt the property of the Underhill Jericho Fire Department from taxation for municipal and school purposes for a period of 5 years? That passed 402 to 106. Shall the voters vote to give the Select Board general authority to enter into tax stabilization contracts with owners, lessees, baileys, or operators of agricultural or forest property, open space land, and alternative energy generating plants? That passed 339 to 155. Shall the voters authorize expenditures of $1,000 for the Jericho Farmers Market? Passed 400 to 109. And nothing on school meeting. On to Westford, proposed town budget, $2 million, an increase over 4.6% over current budget, passed 199 to 59. Select Board, Bill Cleary won over Tim Johnson for a 3-year term, 165 to 77. Town Clerk Nanette Rogers, incumbent, was elected to a 3-year term with 263 votes. Williston, proposed town budget, $11.5 million, up 3.3% from current budget, passed 1,100 to 460. Select Board, Gordon St. Hilaire won a 2-year seat, 1,295 votes. Incumbent 10 Kenny, 784, defeated McHugh Devitt, 161, and Teresa Terry Zistrich, 541 for a 3-year seat. And items on their ballot: voters authorized the Select Board to purchase 2 fire trucks and related equipment for no more than $1.4 million. That passed 1064, 514. Voters rejected a proposed charter change that would have set up a future vote changing the town clerk position from an independently elected job to one appointed by the town manager with the advice and consent of the Select Board. 777 to 785. All the charter changes were approved. The Chittenden Valley School District Director, 3-year term, Angela Arsenal, 244, won the seat in the write-in campaign over Tim Allard, 104, and Gary Miller, 77. Winooski proposed town budget, $7.3 million, a 9.04% increase over current budget, passed 808 to 328. City Council, Mayor Christine Lott, 650, Eric Covey, 478. There were 17 write-ins. City Council, Amy Lafayette, 838 votes, and James Duncan, 693, each secured a 2-year term, 131 write-ins. Items on their ballot: a $3.7 million bond to replace the Hickok Street water lines and valves, that passed 971 to 170. A $9.7 million bond to build a new parking facility on Abenaki Way, that passed 701 to 420. And should the city adopt a 1% sales tax and a 1% room, meals, and alcoholic beverages taxed? Alcoholic beverage tax, I believe how should be grammarized, passed 735 to 390. Proposed school district budget of $17.8 million, a 5.9% increase over current budget, that passed 731 to 409. Onto Burlington School District. Proposed school district budget approved, $5,465 to $2,423. That's $88.7 million, a 3.6% increase over the current budget of $85.5 million. The estimated education property tax per household is 4.86%. Champlain Valley School District, which includes the communities of Shelburne, Charlotte, Heinsberg, Williston, and St. George. The proposed school district budget, $78.9 million, a 2.6% increase over current budget. That passed 3390 to 1526. Items on their ballot: a measure to allocate $500,000 to current fund balance to the school year 2019-2020 operating budget and assign up to $1 million of the school district's current fund balance for facilities, repairs, and maintenance projects. That passed 3933 to 1,000. A measure to purchase 5 buses for costs up to $485,000. That passed 3273 to 1627. Chittenden East Supervisory Union, which includes the communities of Bolton, Huntington, Jericho, Richmond, and Underhill. I have a note here. The Supervisory Union is comprised of the Huntington Town School District and the Mount Mansfield Modified Union School District. The MMMU, that's a tongue twister, proposed school district budget, $39.2 million, a 12.6% decrease from current budget of $44.9 million. That passed 1913 to 738. Huntington proposed school district budget, $2.1 million, a 10% decrease from current budget of $2.3 million, passed with a vote on the floor. The Essex Westford School District, which comprised of the communities of Essex Junction, Essex Town, and Westford, the districts will be voting for their school budget in April, so stay tuned to that. I ask you to please go ahead and vote for that if you're in those communities. South Burlington School District, proposed school district budget, $51.7 million, a 4% increase over the current budget. That passed 704 to 582. Now, I have a little more extra. That's what's going on for the town elections. I'm already getting my time, but I'm actually already done. So, hey, I beat them to it. So, that is the election results for the Chittenden County town meeting days as of Tuesday, Wednesday, whichever day it happens. I never know my days these days. So I thank you for those who voted in the Chittenden County. If you didn't vote, shame on you. I'm sure you have a really good reason not to. I personally don't care. You should vote anyways. It's at least the least we can do now, especially in these so-called trying times. I did have more on the presidential elections, at least on the Democrat side, because that's now a who's of nobody, somebody, and I want to be some things who are all throwing their name in the hat. But as for that will be next time, and I want to thank you again. This is V. Chase with the Woodchuck Report, signing out and telling you don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have a good day.